Welcome back to Joe's Maths. In our session today, we are calculating a percentage decrease, and this video is part 1 of our 3-part session on how you can calculate a percentage decrease. In our session today, we are calculating the decrease of $150 by 16%. And in this video, we're going to be calculating that decrease by multiplying our $150 times our 16%. And as you know, we're now going to be changing our 16% into a fraction form, which means that my 16 will be written with 100 as its denominator. Now at this point, if you are good with decreasing your fraction, you can decrease your fraction. So I'll show you how you can simplify your fraction if there are times when you can. And for my persons who are not good with simplifying, you can be okay. I'm going to show you how you can also just multiply your numbers out and still arrive at the exact same answer. So with my 150 and 100, I can divide both of these numbers by 50. So when 50 divides into 150, I'll be left with $3. And when 50 divides into 100, I'm going to have a denominator of 2. So we now have $3 being multiplied to 16 halves. And again, we can reduce these numbers, which is 16 and 2, by dividing both of these numbers by 2. So we're going to return our $3, which will be multiplied to 2 divided into 2 will leave us with 1, and 16 divided by 2 will leave us with 8. So when 3 is multiplied to 8, we're going to get $24. And once we've calculated this $24, remember that decrease means that the price has gotten less. So that means that with my $150, I'm going to now subtract my $24 from that $150. And remember, I always show my working, so I'm going to set up my $150 and subtract my $24 from it. So 0 can subtract 4. We're going to borrow from our 5, making it 4 and turning my 0 into 10. So 10 subtract 4 leaves us with 6. 4 subtract 2 gives us a difference of 2, and we're going to bring our 1 down. So when we subtract our $24 from our $150, our price was decreased to $126. Okay, so and as promised, for my persons who are not good with simplifying fraction, I'm now going to pick up right from our $150 being multiplied to my 16 100ths. And remember that 150 is being multiplied to 16. So my 150 times 16, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 5 will give us 30, we'll put out 0, carry the 3, 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 will give us 9. I'm going to add a 0 and begin multiplying by my 1. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 will equal to 1. Let's sum our numbers together. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0, 9 plus 5 is 14. We put our 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 will give us 2. So we now have $2,400 being divided by 100. And remember that 100 divides into 2,400. So 100 can divide into 100, and 100 can also divide into 2,400. So when 100 divides into 100, that will leave us with 1. And when 2,400 is divided by 100, that will leave us with 24. So we now have $24, which is exactly the same thing as we got in our first example. And for some people, this working may be a whole lot easier and smoother. So let's try another example. You can feel free at this point to pause the video, calculate your decrease in your price when $235 is being reduce by 35%, and then when you're ready, unpause the video and work along with me. Okay, so let's begin by first setting up our question. So we have 235 being decreased by our 35%. And again, we're going to rewrite our 35% as a fraction with 100 as our denominator. And for this question, I'm going to just multiply everything out. So 235 will be multiplied to 35. 5 times 5 is 25. We put our 5, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. We put our 7, carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 will give us 11. We'll add a 0 and begin multiplying by our 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. We'll put our 5, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 will give us 10. We'll add our 0, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 will give us 7. So let's sum our numbers together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. We put our 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. So we now have 8,225 all over our 100. And we're going to divide 100 into 8,225. So 100 can divide into 8. We'll add our 0. 100 can divide into 82. So above the 2, we'll add a 0 again. So we'll divide 100 into 822, which will be 8 times. 8 times 100 is 800. 822 minus 800 will leave us with 22. We'll bring down our 5, changing 22 into 225. 100 divides into 225 2 times. 2 times 100 is 200. 225 minus 200 is 25. I'm going to now add in a decimal point in both my divisor and my dividend. I'll add a 0 and continue dividing by bringing that 0 down, changing my 25 into 250. So 100 goes into 250 2 times. 2 times 100 is 200. 250 minus 200 is 50. I'll add another 0, bring down that 0, changing my 50 into 500. 100 divides into 500 5 times, and 5 times 8 is 500. And when 500 minus 500 is equal to 0. Okay, so my quotient after I'm done dividing is 82.25. Okay, so remember to calculate your decrease. You still have to perform your subtraction. So that means in my 235, when it was decreased by 82.25, let's set up our subtraction. Remember that in your 235, your decimal point is behind the last digit, which is your 5. So you always line up your decimal points when you're subtracting decimal numbers and not the numbers. Again, I have to repeat that. When subtracting numbers with decimals involved, remember to always line up the decimal point and not the digits. So above my 25, now I'm going to add in 2 zeros as placeholders just to help me also with my subtraction, so that I don't think that there's a blank space here and then I end up performing calculations on my 25 like I'm adding rather than subtracting. So we fill in those zeros to help us work a little bit more smoothly. So 0 can subtract 5. I'm going to have to borrow by going all the way to my first 5, changing that into 4. I'll make my first 0 10, borrow from that 10, making it 9, and then make my second 0 a 10. So 10 subtract 5 will equal to 5. 9 subtract 2 will equal to 7. 4 subtract 2 will equal to 2. We know that 3 can't subtract 8. We're going to have to borrow from our 2, making it 1, turning my 3 into 13. And 13 subtract 8 will equal to 5. And then we'll bring our 1 down. Remember that we were subtracting decimal numbers, so I'm going to go back and drop that decimal point right down from where it was. So when my 235 was decreased by 82.25, it's equal to 152.75. Okay, so there you have it. We just calculated the decrease of a given quantity when we're just performing multiplication or simplifying your fractions wherever you can. Remember that this is the first method that I'm going to show you on how you can calculate the decrease of your quantity. Remember that the second video is coming, so make sure that you look out for that and learn a second method on how you can calculate the decrease of a given quantity. And until next time, this is Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy.